Hey everybody, here's my review of my 2019 KTM 1090 at 5K. I just put together a fairly detailed blog post on WordPress. I'll link in the description below. Real quick, I'll go through the pluses, the minuses, and the accessories that I got on the bike, and a couple of things that I did differently from my past adventure bike, which was the 2017 Honda Africa Twin. And I might actually do a real quick comparo if I actually try to keep this under 5 minutes. Pluses, real quick. Great motor, fantastic motor, zero complaints. And not that I would know, it does fantastic wheelies, stays at balance point really well too. Even second gear wheelies at 3,000 feet here in Calgary. So OEM suspension, really good. Set at set at 1/3 from fully closed, front and back. Works really well. The suspension's really well planted off-road over obstacles. Doesn't feel wishy-washy or no, doesn't wander or anything like that. It seems to work really well. Good tank size. Typical for me is just under 400k range. Usually you have about a liter or two left. I go into details in the blog if you want to check that out. OEM screen, adjustable, quite good. I just keep it in the low position. OEM seats actually quite decent to my ass, so no complaints there. And I mentioned this on my earlier AT video that filter access general maintenance is actually fairly straightforward in comparison to my last bike. So 3 bolts on the one side, and you get access to your one first air filter sock, and then obviously repeat for the other side. Tank as well. A tank is a tank. Usual to get to a few more bolts, but honestly, maybe 5 minutes worth of work. The tank's off, and you're at your filter and your cylinders. So good, yeah, really good. The downsides, real quick, just talking to Richard today here, and apparently he works for the local dealer here, and he says he did have the pleasure to work on a couple of 1090 dusted motors. So this one got the unifilters at 1K with the pre-filter socks and all that other good stuff. I did clean the socks right around 3,500 kilometers, and they were pretty filthy. I'll check them again here since the bike is in for storage and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. OEM headlight, it's a joke. I got a couple of before and after pictures on the blog post. They call for 91 octane on this motor. I use 89. It's been okay. I'll check the plugs, see what's what. No pinging, nothing funny. Little things, this is a CAN bus system, so any aftermarket accessories that you try to fit, if there's a different resistance reading or anything like that, the computer picks it up. Case in point, I tried to put on a louder horn that had a different resistance, and the computer picked it up right away, so threw a code, and I wasn't happy with that, so I just put the old horn back, and everything went back to normal. Shifter is a direct linkage. You can't really see it, but it has no linkage, in essence, like the something Japanese where you can fine tune it here. So I'm kind of between no man's land when it comes to the shifter with the rod A pegs, but the shifter I've grown accustomed to, not that bad. The rear brake pedal, I'll need to spend some dosh on the Alt-Rider twin brake setup. Again, I talk about that in the blog. Heat. Yeah, the rear cylinder puts out a little bit of heat. You notice it in, say if you're riding in jeans or Carhartts in 25 degrees Celsius sitting in traffic. Otherwise, it's not really that bad. What else? I think that's it. That's all I got for bad. Run through real quick accessories. I don't have them on. You can't see them. The double take adventure mirrors, they're excellent. What's next here? Cycler handguards. These are pretty awesome. They weren't cheap, but really nicely finished handguards. They do the job. So between these and the bars, as you can see, they've been already well used. They do the job. They protect the levers, everything else like that. So happy with that. And it's, you know, it's a lifetime item. Cyclops LED, again, that fixed the candle lights and jam jars as issued by OEM. Filters, pre-filters, again, unit filters in. I might report back once I tear this thing apart to have a look at what they look like. Crash bar bags, again, I speak about these in the blog post. This is the crash bar bags from Lomo, so my water bottle goes in here, and then all my various tools go into this bag, mostly these wonderful things here. Snapjag OEM tool set, which was excellent, from KTM compressor, all the tire repair stuff, spare levers, some tire wraps, because, you know, you never know. Right, what else? Blackfoot skid plate. Oh, yeah. Wasn't cheap. It cost me an arm and a goddamn leg, but really nice skid plate. Solid, overbuilt, and also comes with the side stand relocation kit. My only gripe about this is this off-road, when you're going balls to the wall, it bounces around a little bit. Not a big deal. I got no tank bag on this bike. I used to run quite a large 25-liter tank bag. You can see it up there. It's been relegated to the SV for its use. Just went with this tail pack from that I found on Fortnite, about 75 bucks Canadian pesos. So really good, expandable, fits my camera, fits a couple of other small odds and ends. So yeah, the other thing is too, is I managed to salvage my Lomo 30-liter soft bags, but more importantly, the mounts that Richard made up for the Africa Twins. So the aluminum mount bolts on directly, well, not bolts on, but slides on onto the SW Multec rack, and just secures with one pin to the rack once you're there. And then obviously, it didn't secure very well because it doesn't work well with one hand. Damn it. Anyways, nice aluminum plate with a protective lining all the way around, so it doesn't actually cut into the bag. So the aluminum plate sandwiches the bag together to the mount. Doesn't really go anywhere. So it's yeah, really good setup. So I was glad I was able to move that on to this bike. Rade Garage pegs. Again, lots, a little bit more detail in the blog post. Link is there. Everything else there. These are wider, and then more importantly, 15 mil lower. So they actually allow me to run no risers with the Tusk KTM bar bends, and it puts me in a good position for my 5'9" frame. Last but not least, I put on a new shouty end on the bike. Leo Vinci. Really nice pipe, half the weight. And I ended up keeping the baffle in. It was a little bit obnoxious with the baffle out. I just drilled a couple of extra holes, and it's just about perfect. Otherwise, 5K, the bike's been good. The only issue I have that needs to go back to the dealer is the set button sticks. Sometimes, of course, it's not going to do it now, and it's probably not going to do it when I bring it back to the dealer. And the rear turn signal is collecting a little bit more dust than I'd like to see, so I'm going to get them to look at that. Otherwise, just add gas and ride the shit out of it. Real quick, I've been virtually inundated with a question of how this compares to my Africa Twin. So I might have mentioned it in the other video. This is a lot more at home off-road. It makes the tricky stuff a lot easier to get over. The front end's a lot more planted. It doesn't wander. It's very easy to, say, preload the bike in first gear with the traction control off, pop the front wheel off the ground, clear the obstacle, that kind of thing, without really thinking about it. If you want to weigh the bike, obviously weigh it on the pegs, and you can just basically use your weight to drive the bike to where you want it to be. The AT was really switchy on the technical stuff. It didn't really inspire you with confidence. It had felt like it had a lot more weight up high. I'm not sure if it's just how I see it. You know, and even on the road, you know, at 120 kilometers an hour, it just, you know, purrs down the road. It can go a hell of a lot faster. You don't have to drop a gear to pass anybody, and then you're just going warp speed when, you know, before you even realize it. So in that respect, it's just basically been set the suspension, put fuel in it, and ride it, right? So it didn't really need a lot of work. Obviously, the contact points, the handlebar pegs, those things had to change. But like I said, the screen's very decent for me. Again, lowest setting. The seat's decent. The only thing I am going to say is there's not a lot of wind protection right around here because, again, it's a potato chip, so it doesn't give you a lot. But again, between heated grips, a heated vest, I still run this in the low position in cold weather. It doesn't seem to really bother me. Brakes are phenomenal. Yeah, so I mean, really, time will tell. A couple of things I forgot to mention. Fork bleeders. I took out the standard screws and just replaced them with bleeders. These are nice to put on after or bleed after a bouncy ride. Tire pressure monitoring system, I think it's a must nowadays. This is fantastic. It saved me from the that rear flat I had on my trip, so this was really good. Auxiliary switch for the front lights. That pretty much stays on the entire time. And I did get rid of the OEM handlebar, and I went with a Tusk KTM bend handlebar. I really like the sweep of this bar. It's nice and flat, decent rise. It works for me. And last but not least, the integrated heated grips. Really nice, controllable through the screen, through the set menu. So you just basically, you know, everything's integrated. And they're actually cheaper than Oxford grips, which was really nice. Otherwise, yeah, GPS ended up here, not there. I really don't mind it here, and I had the Ramball model, all that other good stuff. So that went on. Otherwise, I might do another quick video of how this thing comes apart. Obviously, I'll likely speed it up and just kind of show you guys how it all comes together. I mean, there's tons and tons of videos. These things have been around since the dinosaurs, so lots of how-tos and all that other stuff. But yeah, so I'm a little bit late to the game when it comes to the big LC8 1090 motor, but very, very happy with it. Yeah, thanks for watching.